welcome you to Colonel Grumpy's STEM Club. And today I brought a couple friends. They flew in from Mars. They traveled 33.9 million miles to get here to see you guys. And it took 300 days. That's how long it takes to get from the Earth to Mars and Mars to Earth. And they took a couple extra days and they wanted to visit Roswell, New Mexico to try and find some of their friends. Okay, what we're going to be talking about today is the comparison geology of Mars and Earth. Well, how do we know what the rocks are like on Mars? Any ideas? Okay.
People that go out in space on a rocket might go out to Mars and pick up a rock and then come back.
Well, you know what? That would be the ideal way to do it. Yes?
They build rovers and the rovers take the rocks.
Okay. Do they take the rocks or do they sample the rocks?
Sample.
Okay. This is a rover like the Pathfinder, or this would be the Sojourner part of the Pathfinder mission. And of course, in front it has something to go up against the rock. And the rock we have there looks like one of the rocks that they were testing. And that rock was named Yogi. When they sent the Pathfinder to Mars, they named all of the rocks. They gave them all specific names. That way, when they had pictures and stuff, instead of saying, it was that rock over there next to that bigger rock and underneath the smaller rock and stuff. So they named them. And what the Pathfinder did was put its sensor up against the rocks. And in there, it was able to tell what type of elements were in the rock. So they know that most of the rocks on Mars are igneous. Who knows what igneous is? Not ignoramus. Igneous is rocks made by volcanoes. Okay. What color is Mars? Okay, anyone?
Red.
Okay, red. Why is it red? Okay.
Because of the volcano?
Well, kind of.
Because it's closest to the sun?
No, it's not.
It has lots of dust.
Okay, but what's that dust made of?
The rings?
No, there's no rings around Mars.
Rocks.
Okay, yeah, well, we're trying to find what kind of rocks are.
Volcano rocks?
Okay, yeah. All right, what most of the rocks are made out of on Mars is iron. And the iron oxidizes. And when you get iron that oxidizes, it rusts, right? So that's why it's the color of rust and red in color. All right. They sent out another rover called Curiosity. Curiosity, one then was a little bit more advanced than the Pathfinder, where it went and it had a drill on it and it was able to dig holes and take samples of both the ground and the rocks. Here there's 2 holes that it made in the rocks. And that way they were able to tell exactly what the rocks were made of. And we know that they're made out of volcanic rocks. These up here are all basalt. This here is a piece of basalt. And they went and they know that there are traces of gold in the volcano rocks on Mars. I'll pass this around and you'll be able to see there's traces of gold in this one. And it's fairly heavy. All right, and you have all different types of volcanic rocks. You have the granite. You have pumice, which is very light. This was very fast flowing lava, and it cooled very fast, and it turned into obsidian, which is almost like glass type. Okay. And another thing, this is from here on Earth, it's called a volcanic bomb. And what happens when a volcano takes off, it erupts, small hunks of lava will fly up into the air and it will cool as it's coming down. And when it comes down, it will form a ball-like, and it's very heavy. They could get hit by that, huh? Okay, but we also know that, have we ever seen any Mars rocks?
No. Nope.
Yes, we have.
Yes.
A lot of scientists go down to the South Pole, and on the South Pole there's fields of meteorites, and these meteorites are ones that come from Mars. And I brought a meteorite. This is a piece of Mars. And I'll let you take a look at it. And actually what was there was water, like a giant lake. And it washed the stones away. And when people ask her, well, was there water on Mars? We know that there is water on Mars. On the North Pole of Mars, there's an ice cap. Like on the Earth, we have the glaciers up on the North Pole. Well, they have the same thing on Mars. And this is a crater, and coming out of the crater is a riverbed. And the riverbeds flow all over. So yes, there's water on Mars. They think that there's enough water underground that they would be able to bring it up. And this is a picture of just a debris field of rocks. Some of them are igneous rocks and everything. And they have, these are pictures of conglomerate rocks. See all the small stones in there? Okay, I'll pass it around. And we have another conglomerate rock here. And this was found in sandstone. And if you look at it, it's not only rocks, but there's also shells in there. So this was formed in a riverbed. It had a lot of life to it. And they went on, shows a big riverbed, and these are little islands that were in the river. And here we have, there's different colors of sand here on Earth, right? You go to Hawaii and one beach maybe have black sand on it. Another beach may have white sand and stuff. Well, that's the same thing on Mars. Here's one with this had black sand in it, and this was a lake bed, and it shows how the waves were moving and stuff. And this is another lake bed. Actually, it was a crater. It had this sand and water in. And there's different types of rocks. Here we have slate or shale. And we have a big piece of shale here. I won't pass it around, it's a little bit heavy for you to pick up. But you could come up and take a look at it. And shale is a sedimentary rock. Sedimentary is where you keep on getting layers. You could see all the different layers in here. And that's like with that picture. The rocks in there look just like this. And then you also have what's called metamorphic rocks. And this is a good example of a metamorphic rock. It's something that's made out of pressure and heat, and it just squeezes it all together. This one, I'm not quite sure where it came from and how it was formed, because it looks like this was the center of it, and it just got layers and layers, and the pressure and stuff just kept it growing. And there were different types of layers. this is an area on Mars that shows through erosion and stuff the different layers of the hills there. And I'm going to bring in a little bit of weather while we're there. Does Mars have wind on it?
Yes.
It does?
No.
It doesn't?
No, it does.
Okay, who knows what a dust devil is? Ever see a dust devil? Okay, tell you what, in the fall, after the farmers finish harvesting the corn and stuff, all that stuff lays on the field, right? And if it's sunny and hot and it gets real windy, you'll see the debris go up like a tornado. Well, these are dust devils in the desert here on Earth. But we know that there's dust devils on Mars because they got a nice picture of it. And we were talking about ice on Mars. Here's ice inside a crater. This is methane ice. And we were talking about the North Pole being an ice field. And you could see how it rotates like. That's because of the sun heat beating on it, causes it to melt like that. But you know what, there's a lot of strange things that happen on Mars. Curiosity went and took pictures that left scientists baffled. And when people look at them, they go and they say, hey, that looks like a skeleton. That looks like a skull. And there was one, I'm not quite sure what it was, but it's a bunch of slats. It looks almost like slats of wood that was buried in the ground. And the ground just kind of brushed away. But then there was another photo that Curiosity took, and in it, it looks like there's a skull laying in the ground here. I'll pass it around. And then here's another one that looks like someone's curled up laying on a rock. And then here's one that looks like a skeleton. And there's one more here that looks like a horse's head. We know that there's all kinds of fossils here on Earth. And how do we know there's fossils on Earth? They take and scientists go out into fields and they look for them. Like these two are trilobites. They look kind of strange. And trilobites lived in water. And here's another one of a seashell. And it looks like just a regular seashell, but you could tell it's fossilized because it's already turned to stone. And I have another one here. This is actually a seed of a plant. And this is one that I found over in Braidwood. Okay, and my grandson Ian went to a scout camp in Indiana, and they have a place called Fossil Beach. And these are fossils that would have lived in water. So I'll pass them around. Be careful not to drop them. Okay?
They will break.
Yes, they will. Okay. Right now, we have the Pathfinder and Curiosity and a couple other rovers on Mars. And the rovers tell us what they're made of, what the rocks are made of and everything. But someone was saying the way to find out what the rocks are made of is to send a man up on there to collect rocks and everything and bring them back and look at them, right? Well, that is the ideal thing. And I brought a microscope, and when you go and take and bring back a sample of rocks, you don't need a massive big rock like this to bring back, because when you're returning in your spaceship, you only have so much room, and you can only take so much weight. So a lot of the rocks, when they brought them back from the moon, were small samples about the size of this meteorite. And that way, they even took these small samples and made them even smaller so they could put them under a microscope and look at them. Let me see if I could open this up. And we'll go and we'll take a look at some of them, if I could get this open. Got it open. Okay, I was looking at it. This one is, I'll go and now put the microscope on, and I'll go and let you come and take a look at it. Okay, if you want to come up one by one, one by one, of the rocks, the igneous rocks, are made on the inside, and they come out through volcanoes. You know that Mars has the largest volcano in the universe. It's called Mount Mons. And it also has, you know, who's ever been to the Grand Canyon? Anyone? Well, the Grand Canyon's pretty big. But you know what? On Mars, they have a canyon called Valley Marineris. And it would, if it was here on Earth, it would go from the Atlantic Ocean across the United States to the Pacific Ocean. It's that big. And it's about 3 times as deep as the Grand Canyon. Kind of neat, huh? And just think, maybe one of you guys or gals will be the first astronaut to step on Mars. You know that? And then maybe if you do go to Mars, you'll see my friends Mark and Mark. But I'm going to get them and have them say goodbye to you. And we had a good time talking to you about Mars and Earth. And they want to say thank you for letting them come and visit.
If you live in the Champaign-Urbana area and you are 12 to 18 years old for our cadet program or over 18 years old for our senior program and are interested in joining the Civil Air Patrol, we invite you to attend our meeting Monday evenings, 6:30 p.m. at the School of Aviation at Willard Airport in Savoy.